Well, um, man, ever since I started a job, pretty much since this last November, I have just not been able to get my viewership back at all. Part of it is inconsistency. I'm not very good about sticking to a schedule like I was. I hope to remedy that before too long. But a big part of it is just that my job kills me. Um, those of you that like work in factories and are on your feet for 12 hours a day, you probably can't empathize with this, although I'm on my feet quite a bit as well. I literally only work like 2, 3 days. Hey there, kitty. But it's a solid shift. It's a solid 48-hour shift from 8 p.m. Friday to 8 p.m. Sunday. You basically go 2 days without sleep and you're on your feet for about 14 to 16 hours each of those days. And you're dealing with like really serious stuff. So it's high stress in addition to just wearing you out. It's constant stress. Like, is this person ill? Do I need to call 911? Is somebody going to run away? Are they going to fight me? Are they going to fight their roommate? Are they? And every Monday, man, I've gotten pretty good at taking care of like the Monday sickness, but it is 100% a thing that happens every Monday. Every Monday, the Monday after the Sunday I come home, I'm sick. Like genuinely, almost like a kind of like a bad cold, only without the nasal congestion and all that shit. Just totally worn down and tired. Like you can't tell, thankfully, but I have like a thin veneer of sweat over my whole body. I actually had to take a moment to try and find my summer shorts because and it's like 60 degrees in this room. It's not hot. I don't know what that'd be in Fahrenheit, but it's not hot. It's about, oh God, I was going to say twice the temperature of freezing, but it's 0 in Celsius, so that doesn't help you. Like 10, 15 degrees in here. Is that accurate? Let me look this up because it's been a minute since I've had to do this. Come here, calculator. I need to go to units. Volume, length, weight, mass, temperature. Thank you. In Fahrenheit, 60 degrees. Oh, not 60 degrees Celsius. Sorry. Fahrenheit to Celsius. Yeah, about 15, 16 degrees. So it's nice. It's nice. But I'm still coated in a thin veneer of sweat. I figured out like a couple of cheats that help me to feel better. Either don't run the heat at all. Let it get freezing cold in here and just bundle up with a blanket. Or if I do run a heat, run a humidifier at the same time. I have to like prop myself up because I think I have sleep apnea. So that helps. And I can't have more than about 7 hours of sleep. Because, oh, wow. Dude, that looks so beautiful. I'm going to share this for anybody that comes to this from like YouTube. A lot of my viewers, and it's a reason why I stream so early, they live in Finland, thereabouts. And my buddy Alfred just sent me this picture. It looks amazing. Like, it's very warm here. We're already experiencing spring weather where I live in Kentucky. Kitty, are you going to jump up here again? You just have no respect, my guy. Oh, here. I'll move some stuff out of your way. Ugh. Did I just break something? I dropped a ruler. Oh. Hey, that explains a lot. Come here. Come here. The little thumb pad to my controller. But Finland, or that entire region, just looks so beautiful. I imagine it's very cold. It depends on how, like, oh yeah, 30's not bad. 30 really isn't bad. In the United States, you don't really, I mean, it's cold. Most of the people in this area would say, oh, it's cold as fuck outside at 30 degrees. But most of them don't actually complain. They're just complaining to complain. They don't actually complain until it gets to be about 0 here, which I don't know what that would be in Celsius. Yeah, 0 Fahrenheit. It's somehow new. Did you see that? That's crazy. Is about negative 17 degrees Celsius. It's right around that point that people are like, fuck this. This is too cold. If it's a negative temperature, nope, they don't want to do it. As you go farther north, that's pretty much the case, I guess, until you get to Canada. Now, if you're in the South, if you're in a place like Alabama and it gets like 50, they lose their mind. They absolutely lose their mind. I remember I spent a winter in Dallas, Texas, which is kind of southern desert, arid. If you're from Europe, it'd probably have like a similar like humidity and temperature to something like the southern portions of Italy, maybe. And it got down to about 50 degrees one winter. And I saw this man, he had like what looked like two long sleeves. So like a long sleeve and then like a sweatshirt and then like not a raincoat, but what do you call them? Like a windbreaker. And then over the windbreaker was a parka. And I actually watched this guy like put this on, which is why I remembered it. And I'm just thinking like, my guy, it's only 50 degrees out. You're going to be, I would melt if I did that. There's no way. And this guy was like, like he couldn't handle it. And I'm like, 50 degrees Fahrenheit? That's like what, 12 degrees Celsius? That's not bad, man. Let's check this out. Oh, wait. I ain't got my headphones. Do I even have the right thing? Nope. I need to get some new monitors and I need to get a new hard drive to store my videos on. And I need to work on this wall behind me. I'm actually thinking about tearing these down, sanding, priming, and painting it. Let's go back. That looks so cool. Double decker. So I am naturally more inclined to warm weather, though. I have to be real with you, chat. During my formative years, I lived in Southern California and not like on the beach, although I spent some time in San Diego and stuff, which was very nice. Riverside was all very nice. So Lakeside, Riverside, I don't remember which it was. My brain was too young. But I can actually show you where I lived. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. Yep. So I lived in Boulevard, California. I'm sorry for your eyes. Let me turn this on. Boulevard is a census-designated place. So it was so small, they don't even call it a town. In the Mountain Empire area of southeastern San Diego County, California. Now, the San Diego County is fucking huge, by the way. Like, if you look at California, this is very, very big. Very, very big. This would probably be like 6 or 8 counties in Kentucky. But yes, we lived like literally right there. And this was mountains. So it acted as a break from all the moisture. All the clouds would follow the mountain range away from us, except once or twice a year. I live very near to Jacumba. I remember that. Has a population of 315. It had more than that when I lived there, but not by much. I wonder if I can find some actual pictures of what it was like, but I bet you I could find pictures of Jacumba, which would look pretty much identical. So this is where I lived looked like. This is like identical. It's scrub brush and rock. It was like living on Mars. And it would probably be like 110, 115 degrees. Got to do some more math. That's got to be like 30 degrees. Let's say 115. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. More like 46 degrees Celsius. Insanely hot. We used to like take our old eggs and smash them against the pavement because the pavement would cook them and it looked cool. You would go through tires and shoes because your shoes would melt. It was wild. It was a wild place to live and I miss it. I wonder if I can find, let's look up Jacumba Springs springtime. Oh, will they have pictures? Please tell me you have pictures. Yeah, like you get into the nicer areas where there's water, it's just somebody drinking Jello shots. Come the fuck on now. Images. Let's see what we can find. So there are like little resorts and stuff, but that's not really what it looks like. A lot of old Spanish style buildings, which I loved. I wanted to see what it would look like in the spring. Let's just do. Oh, I've been to this place. I've been to this place. Legitimately have been there. Yeah, there's so few pictures. In the springtime, all of this would turn green. Like this actually looks quite a bit like what it would look like in the springtime. All the green comes out. It's very beautiful. So I went off on that rant for way too fucking long. Very, very beautiful painted sunsets at night. It was a cool place to live. So I got really used to hot weather. And then when I came out here, I remember the first year that I came back to Kentucky, I was like in the 3rd grade. And that winter, it got to negative 16, 17 degrees. Just it literally what I was talking about before. So very cold. And the kids here were so used to it that they were allowed to go on the playground and play. And I remember being like, but they're going to die. Dude, the U.S. is insane. The way you have to think about the U.S., honestly, U.S. regions, you have to think about the U.S. like this. This is pretty accurate. This is a good way to think about the U.S. It is basically like 5 or 6 countries. It legitimately, like this region, this region, this region, this region, this region. You know, a lot of mountains and rather large cities. Mountains, swamps, coastal areas. Then you have Texas, one small coast, but basically southern desert. There is some, I wouldn't say the Rockies. There are some hilly areas, but most of this is flat until you get to the edge of New Mexico because there's a giant mountain range through here. Politically, these all pretty well aligned. So pretty conservative, pretty liberal, pretty conservative, liberal. Although I would say that Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, maybe not Idaho, Montana, other than Colorado, these are pretty conservative. But that's really a good way to think about the U.S. as being a set of different countries. It really, having lived here, I've lived here, I've lived here, I've lived here, I've been to here and here and here. Oh, I'm getting a call from my mom. 1 second. I'm actually really glad that I muted myself because that would have sounded like a drug deal. Well, they're not marked by their politics. It just so happens that these regions generally do fall into like almost all of this. Well, okay, I would say once you get in Virginia, it becomes more liberal. So let me actually look at this big. Can I show this in a bigger map? So like conservative, 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 all of this up until you get to North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia is mostly conservative. When you get to the coast of Virginia, around Virginia Beach, D.C., it becomes more liberal. And a lot of this up here is liberal. But that's just a coincidence. The region and the regions aren't decided by their politics. It's actually more or less decided by their geography. So this is Appalachian Mountains and swampland. This is flat desert. This is prairie country. This is Rocky Mountains, this Montana. And the Rocky Mountains extend all the way to the coast, and then along the coast it becomes liberal again. Colorado, I'm not sure why, but they're fairly left leaning, where almost all of these are conservative. It's just a coincidence that that happens that way, but it does pretty well happen that way. And most of the United States, if you look at the region it consists of, or the amount of land it consists of, is conservative. We've got multiple parties, but the situation isn't good. Either you vote the extremely conservatives or the people that throw money overseas and make us go into more. Yes. Holy shit. Yes. That's same in the US, man. We have more than two parties. You just don't really hear about them. And it's like, even on paper, I might agree with the party, but not particularly like the candidates. Like on paper, libertarianism doesn't sound too bad to me. The government is meant to effectively stay out of your way, allot as much freedom to you as possible. It is a fiscally conservative, socially liberal party. On paper, it sounds nice. It's like, oh, you mean I pay less taxes and gay people can marry? That sounds great. You know what I mean? But in reality, it's not actually that great, which is why I've never voted for one. It's really, really hard, and the parties have changed a lot. If I don't think that, like, if Kennedy were to run today, he would get elected, which is a shame because I believe he was an excellent president. Although he did do some shady stuff, not gonna lie. But I don't know. What would you call that? A classic Democrat, a classic liberal. Southern Democrat is usually what I go with because I am more left leaning than right leaning. But I've been really disappointed in my party for a long time. It's not, the state of politics in the United States has been a shit show since, well, I mean, since before Obama, pretty much since ever. But I actually quite liked Obama. He did a lot of shady shit that I didn't agree with, but as a general premise, he was an intelligent, articulate, seemingly empathetic individual. I liked him. More so than either Trump or Biden. I'm not a fan of either one of those. But let's not get too off into politics, because I'm not educated enough, honestly, to go too deep into it. I probably hold opinions that don't actually hold any water, because I just don't know enough. I just don't know enough. I know that fundamentally he is definitely lost. So I will say, I'm going to switch this over to Dear Esther really quick. So there's a major problem with presidents, both like Trump and Biden, and it actually has a bit less to do with the presidents themselves. Rather, it has to do with the people that surround them. So you have one that doesn't really have a history in government at all, Trump. He's just rich, right? And he's charismatic enough that he's able to pull a lot of people over to his side. He knows just the right things to say, what stances to take. If he's hardline on immigration, say, a bunch of people are going to vote for him instantly just because of that. But he relied heavily on advisors and the people that he surrounded him with to make decisions. And he was just stubborn enough to not agree with all the decisions, which may have been a good thing. But it creates kind of an atmosphere of conflict or hostility in the White House when people are like, no, Mr. President, we need to do X or Y. And he's just like, you're fired, you know? And then you sort of have the same thing with Biden. But with Biden, he can't fight back. So all the people that surround him are effectively making all the decisions for him, or at least that's what it looks like. It looks like every speech is written for him. Every situation in which he's put in front of a camera is very carefully catered. They have people there to help keep him on track, to keep him clear-headed. I actually feel kind of sorry for him. He seems like somebody who is way out of his depth just because of failing health and being older. We had something similar to this happen with Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan had early onset dementia, if I remember right, Alzheimer's, and he started to lose his way toward the end of his presidency, and he effectively relied on the people around him to make all the decisions. And that's scary, because you don't know what person is making what decision at what particular time. Now, I might be reading way too much into it, but watching him get lost on stage, I genuinely feel sorry. I'm like, ugh, buddy. Maybe it's just because it's my job to take care of people, and I see a lot of parallels that makes me feel weird about the whole situation. But again, I'm not educated enough on politics to really make any kind of... I've got to be careful about what I say, because what the fuck do I know, man? I stream video games, for Christ's sake. I'm a fucking moron. Take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But I'm going to get started with Dear Esther here. Haven't played this before, but I have been looking forward to like a narrative-based puzzler, Myst-like game for a while. I haven't played one in a minute. I enjoy the hell out of them. Yeah, so I will say that what is fundamental to my political philosophy is empathy and compassion. I think it's important. I don't know how that empathy or compassion should be expressed. Like, is it really in our best interest to decriminalize drugs along the Northwest and supply them with the means they need to use those drugs cleanly? Or should we treat it like the Dutch do and refer to it as an open drug scene and battle it that way? Which way is ultimately going to end up being better for the people that live in those communities? You know, like, I understand the need for people to be able to use drugs safely. Doesn't necessarily mean I agree with it. And I also don't know if that's the better of the two models for how to deal with it. So it's like, it's one thing to be empathetic, but it's another thing to know how the hell to use that empathy properly. Because what you might think is in someone's best interest really isn't, and is really hurting them. So maybe if I went and got a PhD, come here, baby kitty, from Harvard or an Ivy League school, we could figure it out. What are you doing, buddy? You're all rubbing all over my legs, purring, wanting pets. And then what do? You want to escape, but there is no escape for you, kiddo. Nope, nope, nope. Meow, 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 meow. This is a reminder to bother your cat today. All right. I don't know if my headphones are dead or what. Let's look at controller, vertical, horizontal. That's interesting. Look type, normal, vibration. Okay. Video. Field of view. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me what it is. I don't want a crosshair. Advanced. High. How crazy can it go? I think it'll be okay. It's a bit of an older game, so I don't think that it's going to push my card too hard. I think it'll be okay. I don't know if this is better with a keyboard and mouse or a controller. I'm going to hope keyboard and mouse is just fundamentally better. I'm going to knock this light down just a hair. Let's improve the aesthetic. Somehow feel offended. My cat is cleaning himself like... I don't know. Maybe I smell bad. All right. So I don't want the director's commentary. Not just yet, anyway.
Dear Esther, the morning after I was washed ashore, salt in my ears, sand in my mouth, and the waves always at my ankles, I felt as though everything had conspired to this one last shipwreck. I remembered nothing but water, stones in my belly and my shoes, threatening to drag me under to where only the most listless of creatures swim.
Okay. Options. Would it be under audio? Closed captions enabled. Sure. Another thing, keyboard and mouse sensitivity. I'm going to knock this down because you guys know I don't like a lot of acceleration, and I don't like a very sensitive mouse. For one thing, it's more cinematographic if you can move more slowly and smoothly. I'm curious about this. Ooh, I can get down here. Can I interact? I actually don't know how to interact. Can I jump? Oh my god, I can't jump. Did I just trap myself? Okay, there we go. I've wanted to play this for a long time. Ooh, I see an obvious path, but let's explore the buildings. What's up? I haven't seen you in a minute. Chat has been making a lot of game suggestions here lately, so I've mostly been playing things that others want me to play. But I wanted to play something kind of for myself, and I'd been sitting on Dear Esther for a long time. Just a straightforward narrative walking sim. I wish I could read this. What does it say? I feel like that is not in English. Whoa. A chemical compound? Oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, carbon, hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. Wait, is that an I? Like, I feel like I recognize this, but I don't know what it is. Isn't screenshot F12? Yeah. It's like a cooking magazine. Is that a deck of cards? A deck of cards, a book. A Hebridean history. I don't know what Hebridean is. I figured it would be. It looks super familiar, but I can't place it mentally for some reason. I thought I saw something in that. No. Ah, that doesn't look funky at all. All right, let's check out this next building. Is that a broom? No, it's just a plank. Oh, more. Where, though? Wait, I didn't even think to look at the ceiling. Ah. Well, at least I was correct that it is a chemical compound. Now the curious thing is we have splattered paint. I don't know if it's pareidolia or if that says OHCH. Luminous paint premium plus. Okay. All right. We have the down path and the up path. I want to take the lower path first. See what we find. Yeah, that's what Alfred said. He was like, oh, it's some source goodness. I didn't even know that. And honestly, it looks really good. It really does. It looks quite nice. Do you hear that? I hear it only here for some reason. Might be imagining things. Can I run? No. Or at least, I don't know how. Does this just dead end over here? Oh, and another path up. We might take that.
Those islands in the distance, I'm sure, are nothing more than relics of another time, sleeping giants, somnambulist gods laid down for a final dreaming.
Ooh.
I wash the sand from my lips and grip my wrist ever more tightly. My shaking arms will not support my fading diaries.
So I have to make a middle note. There are two paths upward. They probably meet. Ah, the Fibonacci sequence. That's really cool. Let's ride the spiral out. We need to ride the spiral to the end. It may just go where no one's been. I'm so glad they really improved it. The other issue it had besides the graphics is you couldn't adjust the music levels. The music was mixed way too high against the narration. Well, thankfully I have subtitles, but if you experience that, let me know and I'll turn the volume down. I feel like I'm gonna inadvertently circumnavigate this entire island.
Dear Esther, I found myself to be as featureless as this ocean, as shallow and unoccupied as this bay, a listless wreck without identification. My rocks are these bones, and a careful fence to keep the precipice at bay. Shot through me caves, my forehead a mount. This aerial will transmit into me so.
Wait, is that a cave?
All overexposed, the nervous system, where Donnelly's boots and yours and mine still trample. I will carry a torch for you. I will leave it at the foot of my headstone. You will need it for the tunnels that carry me under.
So, I think that the Fibonacci sequence and phi, which is the golden ratio, are related to each other. I'm pretty sure that they actually do go hand in hand, but I could be wrong. Which the golden ratio is like, what, 1.68? I mean, it's actually an irrational number. It goes on for like forever, but it's roughly 1.68. Ooh, can I swim? All right, I think I'm going to turn back as opposed to going for a prolonged swim here. We'll take the initial path up. I believe it probably connects to the previous path that I had come to. Ooh. Let me back up here. I wish I could jump. Surprisingly... Oh, difficult thing to pull off for whatever reason. There we go. Oh, come on now. Okay, here we go. What this vaguely reminds me of is the one about the house. What was it called? God, what was it called? A girl returned to her childhood home and unraveled the stories of various family members. I can't remember what it's called. It was amazing, too. No, I don't think it was Gone Home. I could be wrong. I do have Gone Home. What Remains of Edith Finch is what I'm thinking of. Yep. That game was amazing. I loved that. I feel like walking simulators, narrative-based puzzle games, they just don't get as much love as they probably deserve. There's a handful of diehard fans, but I don't know. It seems like there's a lot less broader appeal than I feel like is justified. Like, Infra was one of the coolest games I ever played, and Valiant, you obviously love Infra, but Feral in that game because it's based in an area. Oh, really? That's cool. Although, I'm a little confused as to what you mean by going feral. Can I die? Wait. Oh. I cannot die, or at least not easily. So I'm guessing if I had taken the other path up, it would have dead-ended there. Which is annoying for you guys, because I'm going to walk it back and see if that's the case. And if that is the case, I apologize. We're going to have to go for another spin around the... But I am very meticulous about these sorts of things. I like to see where everything leads. I don't know how I didn't notice the light tower before. Can I get to it from this opening area? I loved What Remains of Edith Finch because it was like 6 different games all in one. Oh, yeah, that was so sad. I remember that part. Oh, that's funny. Did something happen in real life that made people... Or is it just an area where they're naturally restricted? is it that I didn't notice this was a lighthouse before? Can I look up into it? Oh, there is a broken stairwell. I missed this completely the last time I was in here. It's not just some random hunting area. It's a public park. Yeah, that makes sense. But I really love that game. I need to play Gone Home. I believe I have it as well. There's also some more puzzle-like ones. I'd love to revisit The Witness. But I've technically beat the main story to that. And then I have, what is it? The Forgotten City is another one I have that I want to play. Hourglass. I need to finish the Cube series, play Cube 2. You're fine. Ethan Carter is a must-play. I have not. I have not played Ethan Carter. Sure enough, it goes to the same area, and I can't get across. I'm just going to slide down. Wait. Or I'm not. Or I'm sick. Parkour. That's amazing. I made it.
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit,
Oh.
a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
The reason why I stopped was because I didn't know if there was going to be a cutscene, and I didn't want to interrupt the dialogue. Well, listen, there should be like an invitation link somewhere in Twitch. Feel free to click the link. That's not like self-promotion. It's just a Discord thing, and I have a game suggestion channel that you can absolutely... The only issue is there are so many games that have been suggested to me over time. There's no way I could possibly ever complete them all. I can't get through this at all. I don't think I'm meant to. But I've never even heard of Relicta. There is... What is the game? Returnal? I want to play that because it's loosely based on one of my favorite Harlan Ellison stories. I have to scream, but I don't have a mouth. But I was going to save that for... Oh, can I be sneaky, sneaky? Can I be sneaky, sneaky? I cannot be sneaky, sneaky, son of a... I was going to save that for Halloween. I have no mouth, but I must scream. That's right. I actually haven't read Harlan Ellison in a long time. I discovered him because one of my friends in high school, they were like moving some boxes of books. And I came across a book called Strange Wine, which is a collection of his short stories, and absolutely fell in love with it. I read it like 2 or 3 times in a row. And I years later bought another copy of that book because for the longest time it was like my favorite. Returnal seems fun, but I'm pissed at the publisher because they made it Epic Store exclusive for years. I didn't know it had been out for years. That's interesting. I watched a video on it recently that maybe gave away too much of the plot. I don't know, but yeah, the vibe that I got from the plot or the idea was sort of similar to Scorn, but the gameplay is very different. Scorn was fun, but I don't like that it only had the one ending. I feel like that game should have had multiple endings that made you think about it from different philosophical standpoints. It's a very pessimistic, nihilistic game. Fun.
Reading Donnelly by the weak afternoon sunlight. He landed on the south side of the island, followed the path to the bay and climbed the mount. He did not find the caves, and he did not chart the north side. I think this is why his understanding of the island is flawed, incomplete. He stood on the mount and only wondered momentarily how to descend. But then, he didn't have my reasons.
There's another path up there. Yeah, Scorn was a lot of fun until I got to the end and I was like, oh, this is it? They definitely flummoxed me a couple of times. They were a little bit repetitive.
Died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice. They cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
What I'll say is that it also has Zdzisław Beksiński inspiration, one of my absolute all-time favorite artists, along with Geiger. Although I wouldn't argue that Beksiński's better. I just like his work more. I'm a very, very big fan of him. Did I say pan of him? My chair is shrinking, chat. The hydraulic is going out, and it's driving me nuts. I'm gonna try using my controller, actually, because it's uncomfortable when my chair does this for me to use the mouse and keyboard. So I took the higher of the two paths. It's like a little Stonehenge down there. The paths cross over.
Lot's wife, you and I. We feel no particular need to turn back. There's nothing to be seen if we did. No tired old man parting the cliffs with his arms. No gifts or Bibles laid out on the sand for the taking. No tides turning or the shrieking gulls overhead. The bones of the hermit are no longer laid out for the taking. I have stolen them away to the guts of this island, where the passages all run to black, and where we can light each other's faces by their strange luminescence.
He did go through a period where he tried to do digital artwork. It wasn't very good. No disrespect, but he was kind of there during the infancy of digital artwork. And he was originally a photographer. He did very transgressive photographs when he was a young man. And one of my all-time favorite painters, even though they're dark, there's a beauty to them that is definitely reminiscent of Geiger. I want to do something really quick here. I want to see if I missed a path, because I know I saw a path at the top of the hill. It's one with a bunch of pillars and creatures sitting around a fire. I don't know it right off the top of my head. And most of his paintings were unnamed, if I remember right. He didn't title a lot of them. But he had like this interesting blue period that I really enjoyed. That may be true. That may be true. I do think that they differentiate themselves enough artistically that Geiger is... He stole like an artist is a good way to put it. That's a good book, by the way. And I love Geiger's work. I love the movie Alien, and I love aliens. I don't believe I can get up there, but there is definitely a path over there. Maybe if I look back along the ridge? No, I'm not going to backtrack any more than that. Geiger was a little different, though. It was like airbrush on wood panels was sort of his thing. And there was also a lot more... I don't know. His paintings were of a more psychosexual nature, I think, than Beksiński's. God, here I am being an art nerd. When I was a kid, I really was an art nerd, but I haven't really delved too deep in that world for a long time. I sort of agree with Bern Hogarth on the nature of like dilettantism and how it has taken over the art world, and it's more about networking than talent, it seems like, anymore. That sounds hateful, but it's kind of true. It's like, I actually really like Jackson Pollock, even though it's pure chaos, but Jackson Pollock was classically trained. And so even though it looks like a mess of squiggles and splattered paint, there is a sense of that classical training in the artwork. Yeah, right.
Dear Esther,
Yeah.
I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
So I have a question. Was it possible to get to the top of this mountain from where I was? Or was it not? Okay. Yeah, I have really not been, I don't know, I haven't kept track of the art world very much lately. The last artist that I read
I
about,
would leave you presents outside your retreat in this interim space between cliff and beach. I would leave you loaves and fishes, but the fish stocks have been depleted and I've run out of bread. I would row you back to your homeland in a bottomless boat, but I fear we would both be driven mad by the chatter of the sea creatures.
okay, so that looks like a neuron, right? What I was going to say is Banksy is probably the last famous artist that I really followed. And it was mostly because I was interested in his hijinks. Here, give me just 1 second, chat. I'll be right back. Sorry, madness. Just for a moment. Yeah. I appreciate an artist with the talent for pranks, even if he is annoying. A big part of it, too, was that many people thought that the lead singer or one of the vocalists for Massive Attack may have actually been Banksy. And I cannot remember that vocalist's name now. I was really into Massive Attack for quite some time. I love their music. So throw a conspiracy theory into a story about a person and it piques my interest. The more nonsense it is, the more I enjoy it. That's right. That's right. Sure enough. Yes, you nailed it on the head. Nailed it on the head. I Googled it. I didn't know that. Oh, okay. You could have lied and I would have believed you. I hope you know that. I don't know what that symbol is, but a lot of these look like neurons. I don't remember how the conspiracy theory worked. It was like every time a Banksy painting showed up, Massive Attack just happened to be touring that particular town. I find that interesting. I believe it. How did you fit that paper shredder into the painting frame? That you're technically gifted. I hope you know. Bern Hogarth is a bit of an old hat thing to mention. I love Bern Hogarth. He was one of the artists for the original Tarzan comic book series, and he was a firm believer that a person should classically train in art if they wish to be an artist, regardless of what the genre was. He fundamentally, fervently believed that comic book artists should be hardworking, disciplined.
The vegetation here has fossilized from the roots up. To think they once grazed animals here, the remnants of occupation being evidence to that. It is all sick to death. The water is too polluted for the fish, the sky is too thin for the birds, and the soil is cut with the bones of hermits and shepherds. I've heard it said that human ashes make great fertilizer, that we could sow a forest from all that is left of your hips and ribcage, with enough left over to thicken the air and repopulate the bay.
So when I was young, I really wanted to be a comic book artist, and I was a big fan of Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee, you know, mid 90s comic book artists, go figure. And I'd come across this book. This really cute girl in the 6th or 7th grade loaned me a book, and it was Dynamic Anatomy. Secretly had a crush on this girl, absolutely made her cry. Tara, if you're out there, my bad. I was like 12, you know, so not that I wasn't an asshole, but, you know, I'm sorry, my bad. Not only did I make you cry, but it turned out your older brother had stolen that book from the school library, and when the teacher found out, they confiscated it. So I'm sorry I got your book taken away. But the foreword to Bern Hogarth's Dynamic Anatomy was from Todd McFarlane, and it just like lit my brain on fire. I was really one of my favorite artists recommended Bern Hogarth, and so I acquainted myself with Bern Hogarth and very quickly fell in love with his work. I gave up on that dream. Bern Hogarth had a very distinct style, which is the only problem. That's the only problem. It's a good starting point if you want to be a comic book artist, I think. But you're going to have to inject a lot of your own style into your work, or you're going to look like... your work is going to look like Bern Hogarth's work. Yeah, Todd McFarlane is Spawn. He was also the creator of Venom. You know, as an edgy, like, 11, 12-year-old, that was my jam. Jim Lee, I think, I got introduced to him through X-Men, I think, in the 90s. I'm not as big into comics as I was then. I'm not super into comic book movies either, which is a shame. It was a huge part of my childhood, but... Oh, that's amazing that that was an art elective in high school. Oh, if I go down there, I can't come back. So before I do this, let's see if I can navigate around the edge of this and find the other cliffside. Yeah, I really believed when I was a kid that I was going to be an artist. Didn't end up happening. And I was really good when I was very young. I was much better than everybody my age that I knew. That's not to say that there weren't people as good at me at my age. I just didn't know them. The problem was that when I got into high school, you know, your skill kind of plateaus. And all the people that I used to be better than began to catch up to me. And I had way too much ego, way too much ego invested in my artwork. So when I saw people drawing better than me, I thought that I had failed at being a remarkable artist and like legitimately gave up drawing for a decade. Yeah, I love fountain pens too. I'm way too poor though. I'm way too poor. But I will say that I got my girlfriend for Christmas a Kaweco Sport. I have a Lamy Safari and a Muji, which is a very cheap fountain pen. I'm looking into getting a TWSBI 580 AL, you know, the TWSBI Diamond, something a little bit different, but I'm not about to go buy a Pelican or anything like that. I'm too poor. I really can't afford it, but I do love fountain pens. I also like typewriters. There's one behind me. I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah. So there's an Olympia SM9 from 1969, I think. Nerd. Works. I right now I'm using it to keep track of wins and losses in a game I play in my free time. Literally, it says, "Oh my God, what is it? Loss or win 2, loss 3." You don't want to read the day before. It was like 6 losses and 3 wins. It was terrible. Oh, there are cutscenes.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
So what I will say is, for anybody that wants to get into fountain pens, but you don't want to break the bank, there are 2 pens that I've purchased that are cheap. that I really quite like. In fact, give me just a moment. I might be able to get them both. Sorry to digress for those of you. That's my fancy leather-bound notebook here. I'm using it to study Greg shorthand. Some of you may know what that is. Some of you may not. That's beside the point. Yeah. So the latest pen that I got that I really enjoy is this Muji. Very simple, Japanese-made, fine-tipped fountain pen. Doesn't hold a lot of ink. Very lovely, very smooth for a fine-tip pen. Much smoother than my Lamy was. I hated the nib that came with my Lamy. And then, do I have the Varsity in here? Yeah. And then a generic plastic Pilot Varsity. The Muji being brushed aluminum is amazing. It feels like a really good quality pen for the price. The problem is, or at least I would say that the Pilot Varsity has a better nib. That's a smoother nib. But some people like a scratchier nib. If you do, then go with the Muji. I would recommend the Muji anyway. Yeah. And I don't mind a nail. I think the 10s were misaligned. I think that the nib needed work, but I was so new to fountain pens. I still am so new to fountain pens. I wasn't qualified to fix it. Yeah, feel free. Oh God, the high path or low path? Low path has cool stuff. We're going to take the low path. But I would love to be able to afford expensive fountain pens, and I'd love to get my hands on a refurbished, you know, Olympia SM4 or a Hermes Rocket or a Hermes 3000 typewriter. I don't know why, I just like writing implements. Here, we'll take just a moment to check it out. Sorry everybody, sorry. Oh my God, I sound like May from Overwatch. Give me a second here. Yeah. Oh, the reason why I was saying what I was saying, that's actually quite lovely, is I was curious what did. I was curious what you think is the smoothest fine-tipped nib, because studying Greg, you have to have a really almost an extra fine-tipped nail, but because of that, they're ridiculously scratchy. You really like Pilot's fine-tip nib? I might have to do that. Like, I love the Muji, but it's just scratchy enough that it actually makes my shorthand not illegible, but the handwriting isn't as good. What is that? What am I seeing? Oh, okay, there's a buoy over there. The platinum is scratchy on purpose. It's designed to give you a tactile response. Yeah, I think the Muji is too. It's just scratchy enough that it kind of gives you support when you're writing. I don't know how else to describe that. A really, really smooth pen will run away with you. Run away from you, rather. Never even heard of a Vanishing Point. My next purchase is probably going to be a Twisby Diamond. Although I prefer a much more toned down, classical looking fountain pen where possible. It's retractable and has a gold nib. Oh my God, you're nuts. If I were going to buy a $200 pen, I would buy, oh God, what is the name of it? It's not Schaefer and it's not Esterbrook. Oh my God, it's a Greg pen. It's a fountain pen that was specifically made for Greg shorthand, which I'm studying. They're very nice, but they cost between $150. It's not a sailor either. It costs between a
hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
Oh my God, give me a second. We're just getting off on all the tangents here, chat. Yeah, okay, wow, actually. Oh, I did mess up fountain. I did mess up, and it is Greg with 2 G's, please. And then, shoot, I need eBay. So there's the Esterbrook's, but that's That's not what it is. I can't believe I forgot what this pen is called. They're very expensive, though. I wonder if they even have one. Vintage Esterbrook, really, really nice, but that's not it. Did I accidentally search for Esterbrook? Because that's not what I'm looking for. I bet it was, oh, here we go. Ah, a wall Eversharp. Wall Eversharp, about $230. It's a pen specifically designed, and I watched someone use one time, and they said they felt like it was the Porsche of pens. No, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. I do need to get back focused on the game, though. So there must be a hole. Oh, there's something on the side of this. What is this? Neither did he eat nor drink. But what is the first part? And neither did he eat or drink. And there was that symbol. I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of puzzle introduced in this game. But I don't know what it is as of yet. I'm having flashbacks to... oh man, what's the game where you crash on an island and there are monsters all over it? Shoot. Oh, have I forgotten what that's called? The Forest. The Forest. There's no way I can get up that. Far Cry 1. I have not played Far Cry 1. Believe it or not, it's the only Far Cry I know of that... Well, I take that back. I've only played Far Cry 2 and 3. I was going to say it's the only one I haven't played, but I forgot that there's like a whole series of new Far Crys that I haven't played. Far Cry 2 is my favorite, though. By far. One of my friends who also streams Nats, he struggled with it a little bit because it is kind of repetitive, Far Cry 2, but I love the story. I love the setting and the story and... Okay. The Jackal. Whoever was the voice actor for the Jackal is great. Is it? I might actually have to play it now. I loved Far Cry 2, though, because it was like Far Cry 3, but so unrefined and crazy. None of the... Oh, it had nothing to do with it?
If Donnelly's voyage here was as prosaic as it was presented. How disappointed not to have found the bones of the holy man. No wonder he hated the inhabitants so. To him, they must have seemed like barnacles mindlessly clinging to a mercy seat. Why cling so hard to the rock? Because it is the only thing that stops us from sliding into the ocean. Into oblivion.
So believe it or not, I haven't played the original Crysis. I never had a machine that could push it, for one thing. But I was a huge fan of the CryEngine back in the day. And I believe the CryEngine was also used by DICE for the older Battlefields, right? And now they use something different, the Frostbite engine. But I don't know where I'm going with this. That is amazing. That is an amazing fact I did not know. Now I want to play Far Cry, the first one, because I haven't played it, and play Crysis and see if that jives. You know, the only part of the United States that I haven't really been to is New England. At least not very deep into New England. And I really want to visit. I had a friend who moved to Maine, and out of the blue, they like wrote me a letter, and they were like, listen, you need to come here because this place is absolutely right up your alley. You will love this place. Isn't this where I came from? They said it was like old English architecture and really bohemian people that had all sorts of wild interests, and she was trying to sell me on it. I feel like this is where I came from, though, right? Didn't I come through here? I've gotten myself distracted, and now I don't know where the hell I'm supposed to go, chat. It looks so... yeah, this is where I came from, so... I thought I saw a path up, but maybe I'm confused. I lived in the Northeast for a while, never got much farther north than Boston. Do you, oh, well, you're not from there. I was going to say, do you sound like Peter from Family Guy? But you're not actually from Boston. If you're from Boston, I swear, you either end up with a generic New England accent or like the worst Boston accent. It seems like everyone I know from that area is either, they sound like one or the other. My name's Peter. I can't do the impression. I'm not good at voices. Don't worry, I haven't given up. Wait, I think I see where I'm supposed to go. If you look in the very center of my screen, it looks like there's another path through the rocks. So, or is that where I came through? I don't know, chat. Yeah, I believe that. I've been to the Northwest when I was very young. Some of my older siblings, for instance, were basically raised in Astoria. You know, where the Goonies was shot. I don't know. I feel like it's one of the most beautiful places on Earth, but it rains all the fucking time. Of course, it rains a lot where I live now, but, you know. I've also here recently kind of fallen in love with, like Wyoming, Colorado, Montana. I have a grandmother in Idaho. Except you somehow knew I was thinking it, but I did want to say it. That's exactly what I was thinking too. It's like, oh, I'm thinking it, but I don't want to be an asshole. I mean, where I live is the same. I live in Kentucky, so it's like the people you meet are either the most chill, amazing people you've ever met in your life, or they're awful. It seems like there's no in between here. Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're getting bored, chat. I don't know if I'm supposed to go back up that way or over that way. I don't remember which way I came from. I feel like I came from up there, though. So there's a pass between these two hills, I believe. I'm going to take it. Yeah, my grandmother lives there. Is it Idaho or Utah? I don't remember which now.
You visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
The writing in this game is amazing, by the way. I loved when I visited Kentucky. It was during vacation, so we just visited. Oh! Wait, did you do the Bourbon Trail? Did you do the Bourbon Trail while in Kentucky? I've done that. The Bourbon Trail is amazing. And the town that I live in now, I won't say what it is, they're opening a distillery here, and they're going to make it a part of the Bourbon Trail. I was walking down the street and came across this random pizza place where the employees were shooting fireworks. Then we shot fire. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I love Nashville. I've been to Nashville a lot. Almost every time I go to like a concert, it's in Nashville. Ooh, do I want to go down or up? I kind of want to go down, Chad. I kind of want to see what's down here. Well, there was Woodford Reserve.
I looked into the shaft. I swear I felt the stones in my stomach shift in recognition.
Woodford Reserve. There's also, what do they call it? The Kentucky Distillery, where they make Kentucky Ale or whatever. Jim Beam. Forgot the other one. Yeah, it's a lot of whiskey. It was a lot of whiskey. And to be honest, I only remember the first place I went to because it was a lot of whiskey. Oh, man. It was, and then afterward, we're like, oh, let's go get something to eat from the restaurant and maybe drink some more. So after drinking whiskey and beer all day, I started downing rum and cokes, and dude, holy shit.
I've begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
Yeah, I'm not a big drinker, but that day, woo. I pretty much don't drink at all anymore. I do occasionally, but I have a tendency to overdo it when I do things, so as I've gotten older, I've learned to chill a little bit. What is this?
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
Oh, that's sad. Aha. I wonder if I missed a hidden symbol in the other building.
Inventory. A trestle table we spread wallpaper on in our first home. A folding chair. I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable later and you laughed then. This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes, Donnelly's book stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here. I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
I love that. A bed with broken springs. You must remember not to dream because you would move in your dream and the springs would jab you. That's so cute. The clothes actually look legitimate too. There are like pants and shirts hanging from the line. Pure coincidence. Do you want to know what yeah, sure. If it's not a part, because I feel like I should know what it is. It's definitely not LSD. I think I would recognize that. It's not tetrahydrocannabinol. It's not... Did I say dimethyltryptamine? It's neither that. It's ethanol. Ethanol, okay. Hydrocarbons makes perfect sense. Hydrogen and carbon makes perfect sense. Cool. So wait, am I going to find a still? Ooh. Oh, I'm sorry, Burb. My bad, my guy. I didn't mean to startle you. I feel bad now. Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of that thing where the comedian, he was a writer and comedian that worked alongside Dave Chappelle, and I cannot remember this guy's name. But I saw a short on YouTube the other day where he was talking about how alcohol would never pass the FDA safety test. And it was pretty funny. Because he was describing a situation in which they gave a whole bunch of people alcohol. And they said everybody felt warm and loving up until about 3 drinks, after which most of the men became irritated and most of the women began to weep. But when asked why, they'd say, "It's nothing. I'm fine." The strangest thing ever is when they all left, every single one of them got in a crash in their cars. And they said they want to be back next Thursday or something like that. Two Israeli guys want to DJ the whole thing. No, that was a good joke. That's a good joke. It's accurate. Trust me, my family has been hit with addiction problems. If you've watched any of my like old streams, I talk about it. I think there's a seam between two textures there because I think I saw it for a moment. My older brother John killed himself because of his addictions. So, oh, you're very much an alcoholic? Well, then I can empathize. You're fine, dude. I don't care. Just take care of yourself. You know, seek help if you want to seek help.
Jacobson's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
Oh, okay. So yes, you're like, that is a very healthy way to look at it. Because I've struggled with things in the past. I don't really talk about it.
They found Jacobson in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. All around him, small flowers were reaching for the weak sun. The goats had adjusted happily to life without a shepherd and were grazing freely about the valley. Donnelly reports they hurled the body in fear and disgust down the shaft, but I cannot corroborate this story.
You all right, kitty? But generally, when I do talk about it with like close loved ones, I always refer to it in the present tense, even though it really was something I dealt with in the past. It's a big part of the reason why I don't do much of anything anymore. Like at all. I'm very boring now. But I wasn't when I was young, I'll tell you that. There was a time...
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, driving out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
I got you, kitty. I got you. What are you gonna do? Yeah, addiction as a trait runs in my family. It really does. And I don't know if that terminates or not. I really struggled with the use of alcohol. I roommated with my best friend, and he was kind of a fucking mess, and I was already a mess, so the two of us became an even worse mess. And it got to where I was drinking like a half gallon of hard liquor every weekend. And I was very much functioning. I was very much a functioning addict. And it made it so that most people didn't see that there was a problem. And in a lot of cases, I rationalized that there wasn't a problem, but there was a problem. I won't go too deep into it. And I didn't even, I mean, I was going to say I didn't get to a dark place, but that's a fucking lie. I absolutely did. I don't know really what happened. It was just like one day I'm like, nah, not doing this anymore. And I just like quit everything cold turkey and have been pretty much on the straight and narrow ever since. Well, in my case, they really didn't. They really didn't notice. Only the people closest did, but like my job and stuff, they had no idea that any of that was going on. I was very good at masking it too. This has been a long time ago now, but still. Someone has been here. This is creepy. I did the cold turkey thing and ended up in the... Yeah, so... I don't know why. I definitely had withdrawals and felt bad, but... I wasn't drinking consistently enough. It was more like intermittent binge drinking. I wouldn't go so far as to say I was an alcoholic. And it was a part of a greater problem. I don't like talking about it too much. Uh-oh. Yeah, it does matter, man. And I'm proud of you for getting past it, because I know from experience that it's very hard.
Time, I have understood there is no turning back. The torch is failing along with my resolve. And hear the singing of the sea creatures from the passages above me, and they are promising the return of the gulls.
Yeah, man. Feel free to follow. I'm on Discord. I generally stream from like 1 to 5, 6 p.m. I've been late like every time lately, but it's because I have a lot of viewers that are in Europe, and I tried to cater to them a little bit. There might be changes to that in the future. I might start doing later streams. Oh, yeah. I thought I recognized you, but I wasn't sure. Well, I'll be around pretty much every weekday. I don't know what I'll be playing tomorrow. I think I'll be playing Atomic Heart, maybe, which is more of an action game, but still. What? Oh, Stid, are you crying because you won't see me as much? Is it? No idea what the game was. I think was mid-relapse. You're good, man. You're absolutely good. Please take care of yourself, though. Oh, the music is so good. It's beautiful. It reminds me, believe it or not, of a cave I found in Skyrim. I'd played Skyrim for like a decade. And like after a decade, I found a new cave that I'd never found before. And it was so stunningly beautiful that I was blown away. Somebody really loved that cave and took the time to build it. This feels a lot like that. Because a lot of the caves in Skyrim are generic, but every now and then you find one and you're like, wow. Oh, another path. I want to investigate it, but... Oh, someone's been here. Someone's been here, the candlelight.
It was as if someone had taken the car and shaken it like a cocktail.
Whoa.
The compartment had been opened and emptied with the ashtrays in the boot. It made for a crumpled museum, a shattered exhibition.
Oh, God, this is, electronics math. Like, isn't the little wavy lines resistors, or... Oh, wow, I haven't... God, it's been a minute since I've been to college. At this point, I'm just screenshotting stuff because it's so pretty. Wow. Oh, I'm stuck. Ooh, I'm crouched. Here we go, boys. I can swim. Man, this is so pretty, chat. It's so pretty. It looks so slick, though. I feel like to make this game realistic, you'd have to have me fall on my ass a couple times. Absolutely impressive for Source. It makes me kind of want to learn the Source engine. They should just open source it if they haven't already and let people use it. Still has some licenses for commercial releases. What version are they on? I feel like I read something about there being a Source 2 or something crazy like that. But I've really honestly not kept up with it, so I have no idea. So I feel like it was a YouTube video where they were talking about graphical updates to the Source engine. Because I follow some game dev stuff, but it was like mixed in with a bunch of other stuff. How is this still burning? That actually looks quite realistic if you pay attention. Moving just very subtly. So pretty. I don't know what else to say. It's just so pretty. I love the color scheme. The inverted chiaroscuro. It's like the contrast is just so nice. And I'm a big fan of teal. It's one of my favorite colors. Wow.
In my final dream, I sat at peace with Jakobsen and watched the moon over the Sandford Junction. Goats grazed on the hard shoulder, a world gone to weed and redemption. He showed me his fever scars, and I mine, between each shoulder the nascency of flight.
So it's a spiral that goes up. I do want to check it out, but first... Oh. First, I want to check up and down. I don't want to miss anything, so I have to be careful. I feel like this is a map of some kind. I feel like this is the wrong way, so I'm going to go this way first. Oh. Over and up, huh? At this point, I'm just screenshotting because I think that the images look cool. What is that? Well, it definitely dead ends. I figured it would. Let's cross it and go over to the other side. Another electronic schematic, it looks like. I forgot about your keyboard comment. I bet Disobey was awesome, dude. I'd love to be a part of an event like that. If I ever get a passport, I may keep track of like cool events in your area And me, you, Captain, and stuff. We could have like a little get together. That would be fun. Oh, this is a part of the spiral, so I need to be careful. That's amazing. I love that. Did anybody try a yellow vest? You would be amazed to the places you can get into. That's amazing. That's amazing. Good for them. I love that. That is so in line with the philosophy that I cannot be mad at that. Like, oh, I'm actually fighting a current. Come on, let me back up. There we go. That's so culturally accurate. I used to tell people that the movie, oh, it's crystals. The movie Hackers got everything technology-wise wrong, but it got that kind of playfulness, the sort of philosophy of mischief correct. And in my experience, it's been pretty true, although the field is a lot different now than it was then, I think. I feel like it's a lot more technical than it used to be. But maybe I'm wrong. I feel like it literally was fuck around and find out, you know? I think part of it is that being a script kiddie has gotten so much easier. You know, get yourself a copy of Kali Linux, Metasploit, watch a couple YouTube videos, and then just start destroying systems like a dumbass. Now, I remember when I used to do stuff like that, but it was like, oh, I'm going to download this war dialer, this war dialer, and just dial every phone number until it found a computer. Ran up a $600 phone bill and lied to my mom about why the bill was so high. I was in trouble, but I don't think she ever really knew that I had done that. It's different now. There's no phone line hacking. I mean, freaking's not really a thing anymore. I guess it's a different... Now it's about, oh God, what is the system called for cell phones? Not SAS. It's called something else. And it's like a hardcore protected secret. How to hack cellular networks. I always wanted to learn how to do that, but it's almost impossible to get the information. Like, you have to show proof that you're in college. So maybe you can hook me up with some stuff, because you're studying it right now. Another cool thing there for a while I was reading about and I've never done was setting up...
This cannot be the shaft they threw the goats into. It cannot be the landfill where the parts of your life that would not burn ended up. It cannot be the chimney that delivered you to the skies. It cannot be the place where you rained back down again to fertilize the soil and make small flowers in the rocks.
Using old satellite dishes, like old DirecTV dishes, biquad, or I think is what they're called. Using those to oh, wait, how deep does this go? Give me a second. There's a way to set them up. It costs about $30. So with about $30 worth of parts, you can take like an old DirecTV dish and basically make it into something that can catch wireless internet connections as far away as kilometers in some cases. I also heard of a guy who he supposedly was able to use an old giant dish to pick up signals from the sky that were, oh God, how did he describe it? He said that he could literally grab television episodes out of the sky before they were ever released to the public. No, it didn't use HDMI at all. You rewired it as basically a wireless antenna, and then you could pick up wireless, like Wi-Fi, miles away. Behold, Damascus taken? Is that what that says? Damascus is taken. Holy shit, chat. Holy shit, this is spooky, chat. I don't like this. Damascus is taken. Damascus is taken again. I don't know what HDMI tempesting is, but now I want to know. I haven't kept up with anything in so long, chat. I play video games and take care of people for a living. Away from being a city. And it shall be... And it shall be a ruinous heap. Look at the level of detail in that. Like, wait, is this a billboard? No, it isn't. It's three-sided, four-sided. It is billboarded, but it's billboarded in an X. So those are actually 2D objects that are laid like an X, so that you can see it from two different directions. Tempesting is analyzing electromagnetic radiation that is produced by an HDMI cable. You can possibly extract information about... Oh, that's amazing. No, yeah, this guy, he was able to hack satellites, like television satellites, to get free television. And they also were transmitting, like, encrypted video signals. I don't remember what for. I know that it was, like, between television stations, I think is what he said. And he was able to capture them and decrypt them, and he would, like say next week they were going to air a new television show. This has been a long time ago, by the way. They were going to air a new television show. He would already have it. I don't know how full of shit he was, but it piqued my interest enough that I looked into it, and at least the hacking satellite part was absolutely a thing you could do. They did that with VGA and DVI. That's amazing. I know that they've found a way to gain access to system information through power cables, which is nuts. So now if you plug into a power source in your home, that power source can be tapped. I don't know if they extracted information or if they were able to deal damage to the systems. I don't remember which it was, or both. Axe 22-0. Give me a second. I got to find out what Axe 22-0 is. Acts chapter 22. It says 22:1. Let's not do the new international. Let's do King James, please. The cool sounding one. Men, brethren, fathers, hear ye my defense, which I make now unto you. And when they heard that he spake in the Hebrew tongue to them, they kept the more silence. And he saith, I am verily a man which am a Jew, born in Tarsus, a city in Sicily, yet brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, and taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the fathers, and was zealous towards God, as ye are this day. And I persecuted this way unto death, binding and delivering into prisons both men and women. Interesting. It does say 22. It's not 2210, is it? It's just 22, because there is no 0, obviously. What does 10 say? And I said, what shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said unto me, arise and go into Damascus, and there it shall be told thee of all things which are appointed for thee to do. And when I could not see for the glory of that light, being led by the hand of them that were with me, I came into Damascus. And one Ananias, a devout man according to the law, having a good report of all the Jews which dwelt there, came unto me and stood and said unto me, Brother Saul, receive thy sight. And the same hour I looked up upon him, and he said, The God of our fathers hath chosen thee, that thou shouldest know his will, and see that just one, and shouldest hear the voice of his mouth. Interesting. So there is Damascus references there. That's cool. But dude, every time I think I'm going to go up, I just go right back down, chat. Oh no, this ain't good. Loading? Or did I just die? Whoa! What the hell? Oh, the car accident that was mentioned at the beginning. With coins laid face up like wishes. Wow. A road sign. Can I see what it says? Royal Port, the 36. So I'm assuming this is meant to be Europe. Although in my brain it feels like New England. Not England, England. Can't make out what that says or is. Isn't like 36 a major highway in London? Not London, but Britain. Oh. I've awoke. My foot keeps going to sleep, chat. I'm sorry. All right, baby Katie, come on before I wander through this area. You're too close for chat to see. It's a bummer. Yeah, they want to see you because you're a cute cat. Come here. Come on. You're just going to ignore me? Why are you so suspicious? Why are you so suspicious? Oh, there's your tail. There you are. Yeah. You good cat? You mostly a well-behaved cat? Here, let me turn multi-chat off really quick. Oh, I can't because I'm in game, dang. I was going to say, let me turn multi-chat off. Oh, are you going to bat at the picture of me? Can I get my mouse out of here? 1 second, chat. I wish I could show you this. Let's hide multi-chat. Come here. Oh, it's too late. You little shit. Come back here. He was batting at the picture of me on the screen. Dude, I love this cat, but I miss Vincent really bad. Vincent disappeared. I don't know what happened to him, but dude, I loved that cat. He was my homie. I literally cried after about like 2 weeks without him. Because I realized he really wasn't coming back. I cried like a little bitch, I won't lie. Because he was like my cat. That cat loved me so much. I don't know how to describe it. Like, he would be in here right now at my feet asleep. Every time I wasn't in this chair, he would crawl into it and go to sleep. He loved getting to bed with me. He would just meow incessantly until I gave him attention. That cat was my homie, but Samson's a good cat too. And no hate to Samson, but he's more young and rambunctious and a less loving, doesn't meow like ever unless you torture him with food. Oh man, you shouldn't just throw your clothes in a pile like that. Oh, it's beautiful still.
I wish I could have known Donald in this place. We would have had so much to debate. Did he paint these stones or did I? Who left the pots in the hut by the jetty? Who formed the museum under the sea? Who fell silently to his death into the frozen waters? Who erected this godforsaken aerial in the first place? Did this whole island rise to the surface of my stomach, forcing the gulls to take flight?
Oh, there's a bottom path and a top path. There's so many ways to go, but I want to walk out. Oh, like this would make an excellent like wallpaper. Can I get across that, or will I fall? Dang, I'll fall. No, I want to take the proper path as much as possible because I want it to hold my hand and show me the world as it wants me to see it. And I kind of want to take the high path if possible. Can I get back up there? Okay, here we go. What did he paint here? Is that a person? It may be, but I want to investigate that before I continue on. I'm all over the place, chat. I know. I want to see all the things. Oh, it's just a candle at the end of a dock. Whoa. Is that an optical illusion, or is the whole side of it painted? Can I get back up there? Or do I have to take an annoying path around? Because I want to see what look like the rice fields. The rice paddies. I'm not sure that's what it is, but it's what it reminds me of. I found out recently where nunchucks come from. You guys want to learn?
In soil, I chose fire. It seemed the more contemporary of the options, the more sanitary. I could not bear the thought of the reassembly of such a ruins. Stitching arm to shoulder and femur to hip, charting a line of thread like traffic stilled on a motorway, making it all acceptable for tearful aunts and traumatized uncles flown in specially for the occasion. Reduced to ash, mix with water, make a phosphorescent paint for these rocks and ceilings.
Now that looks vaguely like LSD. Um, what I was going to say is, what a lot of people don't know, they thought that nunchucks were just a weapon, right? They're not. Nunchucks are not a weapon. It turns out that once upon a time, I believe it was China, might have been Japan or Korea though, I'm not sure, so don't hold me to it. Sticks were banned. Anything that resembled like a sword or a weapon was banned. And stick was obviously the easiest weapon a person can make. You got a good stick, you got a weapon, right? So what most people did if they wanted to defend themselves is they would hang on to tools. And one such tool was a thresher for rice, used in rice fields, rice paddies. And it's a nunchuck. It's what it is. It's what it looks like. It looks like a nunchuck. It's literally a farming tool. So there's that one guy who likes to look at medieval weapons. I can't remember his name, but he was like, nunchucks are stupid. They're like if a stick had a stroke. He's not wrong. But the thing to remember is that a stick is a stick. It's meant to be a weapon. Nunchucks aren't. They're not meant to be a weapon. They were a tool used by people in farming, and those farmers were going to have a ridiculous amount of experience with that particular tool regardless, because it was required for their job. So them using it as a weapon makes sense, because it wouldn't be taken away from them, because it was a tool, and they had all this experience with it. So they, if anybody knew how to use it as a weapon, they would. Hey, baby kitty, you coming back? I don't know which way to go. I can follow along the beach line, which will maybe take me somewhere, but I was hoping that this would take me up the mountain, and I'm not seeing a path up the mountain now. But I don't want to miss anything. I didn't know nunchucks had such a history. I know a lot of ninja-style weapons are farm tools, though. Yeah, it actually makes sense in retro... Okay, listen. This is too cute. Hey. Oh, you gonna get into that? What are you doing, buddy? I need you to get out of the chat text. I need you to get out of the chat text, okay? I need you to there we go. You cleaning yourself? Oh, you're putting your smell on my microphone? Yeah? You good boy? Oh, go on. Ooh, big stretch, dude. Big stretch. Yeah. He's purring his little ass off right now. You good, dude? Oh, yeah. Rub on me. Why are you going down that way? That's such a weird way to go down. What's down there that you're so interested in? Oh, are you smelling the leather? Oh, butt scritches. Here. Hey, don't bat at my screen, you little shithead. All right. All right, it's coming back down. I'm going back into my game, okay? You good? Yeah, I thought that was really interesting when I found that out through the most dumb way possible, through iFunny. I was on iFunny and someone had made a meme of that guy saying this is what a stick looks like if it has a stroke, if it had stick tile dysfunction, blah, blah, blah. And I know the guy is mostly right about a lot of things. I wish I could remember his name. I feel like I'm doing him a disservice. This is a defibrillator. Someone got shot, it looks like. But someone in the comments was like, well, yeah, that makes sense because it was a farming tool. And they weren't allowed to have weapons, but having access to a farming tool is perfectly reasonable. And I'm like, this can't be true. And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh, this is true. People still use them to this day, by the way. In areas where there's not very much farm equipment, like motorized farm equipment, they still use those. And also watched an interesting thing on Ronin last night, which surprised me. So if you were a Ronin during one of the warring periods, you were okay, mostly. It did not mean that you were banished. If you were properly banished, then you were no longer allowed to be a part of the warrior caste. So you weren't considered really a Ronin anymore because you weren't a part of the warrior caste at all. Most of the time, it was because you either quit or were fired by your master. No, same as a job. And during the warring period,
All by the roadside, by the exit for Damascus, all ticking and cooled, all feathers and remorse, all of these signals routed like traffic through the circuit diagrams of our guts, those badly written boats torn bottomless in the swells, washing us forever ashore.
light from heaven shone around him. Most of the time, you just found a new master, went to work for a different guy, a different group, and you were fine. You could make a living because you were well trained and capable in most cases. And during one of the greater warring periods, everyone was looking for anybody who could pitch in and help fight. But if you were a Ronin, a masterless samurai during one of the peaceful periods, you were just a poor person. You were like equivalent to a modern day homeless veteran.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail.
Aww.
Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
That's sad. Yeah, I actually did know that. The Himalayas are one of the youngest mountain ranges in the world, which is why they're so tall. That's why, like, give me 1 second here. Oh, there it is. People who live in the Rockies and then come to the Appalachians are like, they're not mountains. They're just rolling foothills. You have to understand. The Appalachians are so old. They're older than trees. They existed before trees. Portions of the Appalachian Mountains are the same mountain ranges you find in Finland and the Ural mountain range there on the border of Russia, right? A lot of people don't know that. You know, so the Rockies are considerably younger than the Appalachians, and the Himalayas are even younger than that. And it is creepy to think that the tallest mountain range, 28,000 feet, I don't know how many meters that is growing larger every day, growing taller every day. Now, to a certain extent, it can only brace itself up so much. So even though it's getting taller, the tip is breaking off and resettling because gravity is an overwhelmingly powerful force, but still interesting. On a sudden, what? On a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. I can't read yet. Wait, where the hell am I supposed to go now? Look at that. That was a painting of some kind. Is it possible to get... Oh, it is possible to get up there, I think. Oh, okay. Listen, I'm sorry, but I have to use the restroom. I will be back. Sorry, boys. I'm back. I'm back. I really like this game. It doesn't really feel like a game. It feels like an interactive movie. And I'm cool with that. I actually want to do one thing. Because this game is so consistently this color. Turn on. Hurry, hurry, hurry thing. There we go. All right. Go here and then go there. Pretty close, maybe darker. Yeah. More blue? Yeah, there we go. Cool. Now my colors match up. I like it. I want to get a lighting system that is interactive, that reads the data from the screen and changes accordingly to either be complementary or congruent, either the same color or the opposite. I think that would be cool. It looked like snow for a moment there. Oh, as I go up the mountain, does it become...
Keeled over dead on the road to Damascus. They resuscitated him by hitting him in the chest with stones gathered by the roadside.
Ooh.
He was lifeless for 21 minutes. Certainly long enough for the oxygen levels in his brain to have decreased and caused hallucinations and delusions of transcendence. I'm running out of painkillers, and the moon has become almost unbearably bright.
Yeah, something like that. There's a couple of different things. One thing I have to say about my Razer keyboards, even though I don't really like the way they feel, the way they interact with games was amazing. Like, if I played Overwatch with it, it would change depending on the hero I played and react to the abilities I used. I loved it. I thought it was super cool. You know, like, Diva was pink and teal, you know, and she's a girl in a big pink robot with a teal colored defense matrix that she puts up. Having something similar, like Philip's Ambience, or I think it's called Hue.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Can I get all of this in a single shot, please? Thank you. And as he was proceeding on his journey, or at least the one that I was looking into buying something like that, and what I found, I'm pretty sure was called Philips Hue. So you are absolutely right. I don't know if that specific system was interactive or not. The system I have is just Govee, and it's very, very cheap. I think I paid like $16 for what I have right now. Maybe 20. It was on sale, to be fair. It probably is more like 30 before being on sale, and it works for what I want. Some do by averaging the image colors. Yeah, some literally have a sensor that you like put on your monitor, and it will read the colors that it senses and project that. The problem is if you have a gloss monitor or television, it will also pick up on reflections. So if I have a light behind me and it's reflecting off the glass from the perspective of the sensor, it will try to recreate the reflected color, not the color that's being produced by the image. There was a guy who thought his system was broken because it kept showing yellow on one side of his screen, and it turned out he had a lamp over there that, from the perspective of the sensor, was perfectly reflecting off of the glass of his TV. What does this say? And was come near to Damascus. Creepy. And he was 3-day with what? And neither did he eat nor drink.
This, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
3 days without sight. Look at this color. It's so... What is causing this? Why is it... Oh, it's the candle. Dude, the color is so good there.
Headlights reflected in these retinas, too long in the tunnels of my island without a bottom.
What happened?
The sea creatures have risen to the surface, but the...
Can you guys see? Dude, it went nuts. The game switched and it changed scenes. I don't know what caused that, but something triggered a scene change. So I'm sorry. I think we're back though.
Are not here to carry them back to their nests. I've become fixed, open and staring, an eye turned on itself. I've become an infected leg whose tracking lines form a perfect map of the junctions of the M5. I will take the exit at mid-thigh and plummet to my Esther.
Oh. So, is this like the afterlife? Is that the ethanol related to this like drunk driving accident? Ooh, please don't fall off the edge. That would take a long time to walk back. And it came to pass that as I made my journey and something, it came to pass that as I made my journey. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm just gonna screenshot that because that looks cool. And was come... I can't read that. I'm actually too close to read what that says. Can you guys make that out? Can I get a different angle? It looks like come. And was either some or come. Might. Nigh. I wonder if there's a angle higher up where I can actually read this, because this... Oh god, there's more. But I can't read that either, it's too close. Noon. Suddenly, the shine from the heaven a great light round above me, and could not see for the glory.
He was not drunk at all. He
That
had not
light.
drunk with Donnelly or spat Jakobsen back at the sea. He had not careered across the lost shores and terminal beaches of this nascent archipelago.
Being
He
led
did
by
not
the
intend his bonnet to be
hand.
crumpled like a spent tissue by the impact. His windscreen was not star-studded all over like a map of the heavens. His paintwork
Of
etched
them.
with circuit diagrams, strange fish to call the gulls away. The phosphorescence of the skid marks lighting the M5 all the way from Exeter to Damascus.
that were with me. Oh man, I wish... I'm sure that if this is source, there's probably a way to go in and just like fly off in any direction, because I'm really curious what a lot of this says, but I'm either too close or too far away to read it half the time. I have the game too, but I never played it, and I don't think I ever will. This one? Why? I will say it doesn't feel like a game. It feels like a movie you're a part of. D-A-M-A... What? Oh, Damascus. I'm an idiot. Damascus. I thought it said damages for some reason. Yeah, this is just like an interactive movie. SV cheats one no clip. That's what I thought. That's what I thought it would be. I might do that. We'll see.
I am the Ariel. In my passing, I will send news to each and every star.
Well, we made it to the top, boys.
Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an Ariel, a beacon that they will not forget you. We've always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Uh-oh. Oh, did you see the shadow of the bird? Oh, that was clever and subtle. I just barely saw it before it hit the ground. What a trip.
Come back.
The only negative thing I can say about this game is that it didn't feel like a game. Absolutely loved it. It was an amazing experience. Like an 8, or I would say about an 8 out of 10 experience, maybe a little less than that, but it was definitely worth playing. It just didn't feel like a game. It was like being in a movie. There are a lot of games that do that, walking simulators. But there are still like things you can interact with and things that you have to learn to continue. None of that. Yeah, so I would almost say it's like a choose your own adventure book, but in video game form. It's definitely interactive. It's definitely a 3D experience. But there wasn't any major obstacles to overcome, except maybe trying to understand what the fuck that story is about. Because I just have a mishmash of a bunch of different people's stories, and I'm not sure how they're relevant to each other, what character it is I'm supposed to be playing. It sounds like the main character, I guess his name is Paul, had lost his significant other, Esther Donnelly, on the N5 to a drunk driver. And he went back to a place where they had spent time together previously that they both loved. And he, well, I was going to say killed himself, but he didn't. He became a bird. So I'm not entirely sure. Am I just dense and I've missed the plot? I feel like it's purposefully trying to be vague or esoteric. Like, I don't think that it wants to be too on the nose about anything. It's like, think about it for a while and maybe you'll figure it out. That or I'm just very dense, which is also definitely possible. Very much enjoyed it, actually. Thought it was great. I would play a lot more like that if it had an interesting story, good music, you know. But What Remains of Edith Finch actually had interactive stuff. No, but that is on my list. That is on my list. I do plan on playing the 3 Mass Effect games at some point. I think the next game's going to be Atomic Heart tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it comes out on Xbox Game Pass if Stid wasn't lying to me. So we'll probably complete that. Mass Effect, Doom, Borderlands, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon. Sounds stupid, but there's a reason why these are all together. Playing all the Borderlands would take forever. Playing all the Mass Effect games would take forever. Playing all the Crash Bandicoot games or Spyro the Dragon games will take forever. Doom and Doom Eternal, maybe not. I could probably do those two back to back in like 2-3 weeks. But I want to play all those games on stream, but I also recognize that they take a long time. A Mass Effect is 3 over 60. Right. So I'm trying to figure out a way to play them because they're all games that I want to play. But I also don't want to become like a Borderlands streamer for 6 weeks or however long it takes to beat it. Oh, that's fine. That is perfectly fine. But that's a good point. Maybe I should wait a while before I play them. Then again, people are going to want to see it when it first comes out to decide if they want to buy it or not. But I might, oh, it's 5 o'clock. I wish I had something very short to play. Well, what I was thinking about doing, because I've been talking about this a lot, but I haven't worked out precisely how I would do it. But I thought about breaking up my streaming into like 2-3 hour sessions with a break in between. So I would play, say, like 2 to 5, 1 to 4 my time, which would be 9, like 2 to 5 would be 9 to 1 in the morning. So, or not 9 to 1 in the morning, 9 to noon. Midnight. Oh my God, I can't do math, chat. 9 p.m. to midnight, which is prime time. And then I could do my own, say, from 8 to 11 where I live, so that I hit prime time in Europe and in the States through the week. And then whoever requested the game, whatever time zone they're in, that's which stream will be taken up by that. Dead Space is another one. But because like Valiant is in Germany, right? That's 6 hours early. Or 6 hours later. So if I start at 1, it's 7 p.m. for you. So a game from like 1 to 4, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, not 1 to 3, 1 to 4 would be 7 to 10. If I play until 5, it's 7 to 11. And then if somebody in America wants something, then I can just play that at night, and I can hit the prime time slots for 2 different time zones by breaking up the streams based on who requested what. The problem is most of my viewers, apparently Europeans like me, have no idea why. It does seem to be a thing though. I get a lot fewer American viewers. That's not entirely true. Bran is American, Sigourney is American, Soups is Canadian. I should say Western Hemisphere people, not necessarily American. But I do have a lot of viewers from Europe. So that would create a lot of clashes because, oh, Stid wants me to play Dead Space, but you want me to play Mass Effect. No, I think he's like Indiana, United States. You might be thinking of, shit, give me a second. Give me a second, chat. Neon is British. Stas is Ukrainian. Don't remember where Water Droplet is from. I really miss Katrina 2K though. They're not around anymore, which is really, really sad. Katrina 2K is in Arizona. I don't remember where Orion's from. Nats, I think, is in Utah. So it's a mix and match. Yeah, what I mean is I want to play those games too. But I also don't want to get stuck playing only the same game for forever, just because even if I'm really enjoying it, some of the viewers I have might not be interested in watching me play Mass Effect, and would rather I'd play Dead Space or Doom or a puzzle game, say. So those viewers will wander off for a while. It always happens, whatever game I play. So like when I played Everhood, it was almost exclusively Captain Horse. Game Deck, it was almost exclusively Stid that watched, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But I always try to make sure that each game I play appeals to a new set of people so that you guys don't go more than a day or two, hopefully, without being interested in something I'm playing. So the best way I can think of to do that is to have like 2 streams a day that are a little bit shorter. And then I dedicate them to different games. If you're interested in watching both, you can watch the replay on YouTube or Twitch, or watch both of them live if you want. But the game that I play that is more in your time zone is a game that someone from your time zone wanted me to play. Oh, that's fine. I actually want to play Hogwarts Legacy because I hear that it's fun and that it is controversial and it'll get me views. All I have to do is just say something wildly insensitive and I'll get all sorts of hate views. It'll be great. I'll be right back. I'm missing my little vaporizer. Now the thing, it's very detailed and story heavy. So I was really, if that's the case, then I will probably play Hogwarts Legacy sometime soon, probably after Atomic Heart, because I'm more interested in Atomic Heart. But here's the thing, chat. My girlfriend has never watched a single stream. The closest she came was she tried to text me one time and she couldn't get a hold of me and she wanted to make sure I was okay. So she went to my Twitch and watched like 30 seconds of me streaming just to verify that I was alive. That's the most she's ever watched. Sad. I know. I've even given her grief about this. Because we have a friend who, rightfully so, scored an acting role in a movie with Morgan Freeman. And she was like, we need to watch the movie because I want to support him. And I was like, man, it would have been nice if you had watched, I don't know, even a single stream to help support me. My brain is wired to not buy. I agree with that too, Stid. That's a big problem. A big barrier to Hogwarts Legacy is it's expensive. The amount of drama the game costs is very unnecessary. So much energy arguing. Yes, I completely agree. Completely agree. The biggest rule, period, is that you have to learn to separate the art from the artist. If you can have both, that's great. That's amazing. But often you can't. I love Harlan Ellison's writing, but he's a fucking asshole. I love you, Harlan. I do. But dude, you know you're a dick. Come on. It's a part of your charm. You know, we all accept that. You know, what? We're not going to watch Beetlejuice anymore because, oh God, I can't remember the girl's name. The girl's father, the guy who plays the girl's father, turned out to be like a, I'm like afraid to say the word. He liked kids. Yeah, Hitler had some really interesting paintings. In fact, Harlan Ellison wrote a story called Hitler, I think it was called like Hitler Painted Roses in Hell. Let me look this up really quick. It's one of my favorite stories of all time. And I love Harlan Ellison, by the way. Hitler Painted Roses on the Walls of Hell, something like that. Strange Wine, Harlan Ellison. What was the name? Dude, Google is so bad now. What is the name of the story? Great book, by the way. Oh, it's just called Hitler Painted Roses. So what happens is a gate opens up and all these demons and damned souls escape from hell, but only one remains. And these demons, they go into the world and they wreak absolute fucking havoc. But eventually they're sent back from whence they came. And upon returning to hell, they found the most beautiful painting ever conceived by a mortal soul. And it turned out Hitler had remained behind in hell to paint the walls of hell with roses. And it was like this just incredibly stunning visage that no person who wasn't damned would ever be able to see. It was an interesting story. Still don't like Hitler. Hitler's, horrible, obviously. Stalin was horrible, obviously. But you have to separate a little bit. It's okay to like something from someone. Oh my God, oh my God, Stid. Oh, I'm so glad that I wasn't showing my desktop. Yeah, you just have to learn to separate that stuff. So whether you agree with the author that wrote Harry Potter, whose name has eluded me, even though I know it, I've read those books. God, what is her name, chat? Someone help me. I bought it off of Kiev Vendor for like $35 with coupons. Bought a copy for my wife too. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all, especially if it's a fun game. Oh, but my girlfriend she loves Harry Potter. She loves it so much. It's one of her all-time favorite things. Being a millennial girl, it makes sense. And I think that if it's got a good plot, she would actually watch me play it. I have a feeling she would maybe do that. If I can win over my girlfriend to get her to actually consistently watch just one stream, I will have won the internet, chat. That's how that works for me anyway. My rule is I don't care about when somebody voiced their opinions, even bad ones. I care a little bit if they try to incite something bad. Yeah, but that's true hate speech at that point. But if they do bad actions in the real world, I will drop. Yes. So the only thing where it gets to be a little bit dicey is that a lot of these artists will earn royalties on whatever the product is. So you do kind of have to decide, is this person so bad that you don't want them to earn income from their art. In which case, you can still appreciate the art, just pirate that shit. I know I shouldn't be condoning this, but it's, Harvey Weinstein produced a lot of really good movies. I'm sure he still earns royalties despite everything he's done. So, yar, Captain. But I would wait for the justice system. I watched some of the Johnny Depp trial when it was going on, and first I was really disappointed. I was like, "Oh my God, Johnny Depp! I can't believe you did this. This is awful." I mean, I didn't jump on the bandwagon, but my initial knee-jerk reaction was, "I can't believe that Johnny Depp would do this." And then when I watched some of the footage of the case being played out, I very quickly started getting weird vibes from Amber Heard. I'm like, I have known people like this. This doesn't feel genuine. It feels contrived. And it seems that that's actually the case, that she, at the very least, exaggerated a lot of their interactions. But the truth is that there were certainly, just by the nature of relationships like that, there were certainly instances where one or the other was to blame for something. I'm sure Johnny did a lot of things he shouldn't have done. It just seems like he didn't physically hurt her at any point. Or at least there wasn't any definitive proof of that. But I'm glad that it turned out he hadn't done a lot of the things that had been claimed, because I like Johnny Depp as a person, mostly because, this is going to be a weird reason, one of my all-time favorite authors is Hunter S. Thompson, and Johnny Depp and Hunter S. Thompson were like best friends. When Hunter S. Thompson died, Johnny Depp shot his corpse out of a cannon, or his ashes out of a cannon, if I remember right, because that's what Hunter wanted. And I just find Hunter S. Thompson so endearing, although he has a whole slew of problems of his own, but I find him so endearing. I love him so much. Gonzo journalism for the win, Jet. But yeah. So how much time do I have? How long would it take to get through, like, The Looker? Because I've been meaning to play The Looker for a while. Here. Oh, really? Come on, thing. Looker, time to read. My typing is faster when I'm not reading text, I've noticed. Approximately 2 hours. The Looker is a single-player game that respects you as an... period. Over an approximate 2-hour playing duration, you'll face unique challenges, ponderous ideas, and feebly amusing in-jokes. I don't know if I'm going to play it tonight or not, but I kind of want to. I'd have to end the stream and then start the stream again really quickly, because I can't change the name anywhere except for Twitch, which sucks. I wonder... Let me see something really quick. If I toggle it off, will it stop streaming to those sources? I'm curious. I could test it too. Chat. Then I could just stop streaming to all the other places except Twitch, change the title on Twitch, change the title elsewhere, and then go from there. It would just be easier to stop streaming and then start streaming again. The Looker, it says, is about 2 hours. I would end up playing until about 7 o'clock. I might wait on that, actually. I need a day where I can play The Looker and... Shit, what was the other one I mentioned? Help me out, Stead. What was it? Oh, dude, what was it? The Guest. The Guest is another one that's pretty short. I mentioned 3 possible games I might play today, and I couldn't remember what they were. I need to fix the focus on my camera. It wants to... I don't know. It wants to stick to me. How long is the Guest? I want to see something. We're going to find something out together really quickly, chat. If I go here and I go create a new collection, call it, say, short but sweet, right? Make it a dynamic collection. Can you have playtime as a... Oh, wait, let's see if it will fit under... Ah! Amnesia is short? Really? That is? Ah! Actually, I'd argue a lot of these are true, but a lot of these aren't. I mean, I might keep this. Yeah, but a lot of these are actually short. Portal isn't that short either. But this is, this is, this is, this is, this was. Haven't played it, but I think they both are. So I find that interesting. It got a lot of it correct, but not exactly. What else do they have in here? If I type in shore, oh, shooter is what it tries to. I may still keep this as a thing. What? Not shooter, you dumb thing. Short. Just as a good reference, but I've played a lot of these. I don't know, chat. Do I want to play the Looker tonight or not? The longer I procrastinate on deciding, the less likely it is that I will. How dense is my brain? There's only 10 achievements. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to end the stream really quick. I'm going to go use the restroom, and then I'm going to start a new stream. So if you hang out for about 5 minutes, what I'll do is I'll wait about 5 minutes before ending the stream because I need to rename all these things. Let's see what we got. Will it let me change the name of this before? Let's not do this. All right. I'll be back. Just hang out for a minute. I'm going to put on I cut myself off. I'll put the I'll be back, and then after I use the restroom, I'll end the stream and start it again. What is KSP? Wait a minute. Isn't KSP2? Why does that feel like I know what that is? Kerbal Space Program 2. I still haven't played the first one. I wonder what changes they'll make. I'm actually going to watch a short video of this. No, not 38 minutes, not 10 minutes. Is that really only 5 seconds? Huh, interesting. Let's take this to YouTube. God, Google sucks anymore. With AI generated search engine optimization, you basically get nothing anymore. A lot of these are long. Preview. This is what I want. I want just a short preview.
Kerbal Space Program 2 made me feel as dense as its layered gameplay systems in the best way possible. Before my 2 hours hands-on with the sequel to the beloved whimsy-infused astrophysics that is Kerbal Space Program, I hadn't played a minute of the engineering management space sim series. Always fascinated by it, yet daunted at the prospect of giving it a go, I was fairly hesitant ahead of jumping in. However, I'm happy to report that I had a highly enjoyable time with KSP2, finding myself pleasantly surprised by its welcome approachability. Despite it certainly being a complicated beast to grapple with at times, this is rocket science after all. I managed to find joy in small victories and plenty of fun in my many failures.
Cool.
To those like me who are new to the Kerbal Space Program series,
I did not know that.
It's all about taking a fledgling space agency made up of green-shaded, minion-like Kerbals to the stars and back. By building rockets and plotting missions of increased ambition, you'll venture further and further into the Kerbal solar system, all in the name of...
If I streamed Kerbal Space Program, my goal would be like, I would probably just have 2 goals. Get to space in the first place and land without dying, and then get to the moon and back. If it has a moon. And then once I'd accomplished that, I would consider that the end.
Is no simple task, and nor should it be. And so begins a brain-straining challenge solved through educated trial.
It looks like an Elon Musk failure there.
My early hours of Media Molecule's dreams, being let loose in a sandbox of possibility where experimentation and well-intentioned but fundamentally flawed ideas are encouraged. The generous and well-structured tutorials are presented in a light-hearted and digestible manner, and I swiftly found myself swept up in the vast possibilities that Kerbal Space Program presents. Whilst Kerbal veterans around me with thousands of hours logged harboured dreams of ambitious Martian programs, I was more than happy to launch just one of my rockets and get everyone on board back to Earth, aka Kerbin in this universe, safely. Something I just about managed, but not before a few mishaps along the way. Up until this point in my life, most of my understanding of astrophysics came from repeated rewatches of movies like Apollo 13 and The Right Stuff. Turns out that doesn't really come in much help. My first attempt to crack the atmosphere consisted of me desperately trying to relive my youth in the form of a truly shoddy reimagining of Thunderbird 3. It didn't look anything like it, and it functioned even less impressively.
Yeah, that doesn't look like it's gonna...
...of a late-era Elvis Presley. Style over substance
He didn't die.
isn't the way to go when it comes to space travel, it would appear. And so, back to the vehicle assembly building I went. A welcomely intuitive space to design your very own rockets, landers, and buggies. And where I found a lot of my enjoyment with KSP2.
I love that there's like a max temp, impact tolerance, max thrust, both at 1 atmosphere and in vacuum. I don't know what ISP is, but that's very interesting. That
Next up on my production line were the Banana Man Mark 1, 2, and 3.
Banana Man Mark 1, 2, and 3.
That each failed for various different reasons. It's a credit to developer Intercept Games that even I, very much a newcomer, was able to swiftly and accurately diagnose the problem each time my efforts crashed and burned. At first, the number-riddled UI can be quite overwhelming to look at, but it quickly decodes itself. For instance, a series of actions formed into a playlist of sorts in the bottom right of the screen act as the stages of your launch, each numbered in order to indicate the order in which they will be performed upon the press of a spacebar. It's probably wise to have your engine ignite before decoupling half of your ship, for example. Something I definitely didn't forget to do. Things are just as clearly laid out, with tabs full of
That's actually pretty cute.
Modules and the all-important emergency parachutes. Each component found inside snaps satisfyingly to other parts and is clearly described, providing key but never intimidating amounts of information. I not only found myself having fun in designing rockets that in theory should work, but sneakily learned more than I bargained for, such as the difference between a sustainer and an orbital engine. Like the best classes at school, Kerbal teaches you via fun. fun, trickling science into your brain through playful osmosis. It's through these lessons that I did eventually get my eager little green Kerbal into space and back to home soil, as the Banana Man mission reached a fruitful conclusion after failing them so often previously. It's in these small progressive improvements that the key to Kerbal's joy emanates from. Those
All right. So dude, I'm very, very bad. One thing I've learned how to do is swipe instead of tap. I've got a pretty good muscle memory for it, and it works about 70% of the time, but in 30% of situations, it gets the word completely wrong. So, especially if it's a word that is all in a single row on your keyboard, it gets really weird. Like you want to spell the word pray, P-R-E-Y, but you want to spell the word typewriter. It will sometimes get confused and be like, oh, you're using just a single row, so obviously you meant to write typewriter or pray, but it gets it wrong. All right, hold tight for a minute. I'm going to jump off and back on and see. I don't know. I haven't decided, chat. There doesn't seem to be a lot of people in here. Should I just put off playing the Looker until I'm stuck with a little bit of free time at the end of a stream? Maybe I should wait. I feel like I should keep my short ones in my back pocket instead of using them all up. Because there's the Looker, the Guest, and a couple other shorter ones that I need to play, but they're really, really good for when a game, like I finish a game really early. Then I have something else that I can play toward the end. Because it would be like 7:30 before I'm done, which in Germany would be like 1:30 in the morning. So maybe it'd be best to save it, actually. I'm on the fence about it. Yeah, I think I'm going to put it off. I think I'm just going to wrap up the stream for today. Most everybody has left. Sorry, Valiant, if you wanted to hang around. I'll probably be playing Atomic Heart tomorrow. But I need to see... if I can find Atomic Heart, because supposedly it's going to be in Xbox Game Pass. I am really excited. Yeah, that's the only problem, is it messes with my encoding. I don't know why, but not Atomic Heart. Unreal Engine really does. Can I pre-install this? It says games included in the base edition. Interesting. Yeah, everything else costs money, so I'm going to go ahead and pre-install this. Oh God, I need to move some files. It requires 75 gigs of disk space. Okay, I will do that later because I need to move a bunch of the video that I have recorded to my external, but my external is getting full. I need to delete some of my old streams. And honestly, there's no point in recording after, because now that I use Restream, there's so many copies of my video out there. Why do I need to keep hard copies? I don't know. I'm on the fence about it because it's good for editing videos, but I'm so lazy here lately. I haven't been doing that. Well, regardless, I need to move a bunch of the stuff that's on my main machine to an external. I need to get a new PCIe. I need to get a new hard drive. A bigger one, because mine's teeny. And I need to get a bigger external, like a little NAS thing. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, boys. I appreciate all you guys coming to hang out with me. Yeah, that's the reason, is that it does damage the hard drive recording directly to it. And now that I've fixed most of my encoding issues, I really should just record it directly to the external. And then just go through my old videos and delete the ones I don't think I'm ever going to work with again, because there's no point. And then get a bigger external hard drive to store stuff going forward in the future. Well, anyway, I'm out, boys. I'm going to go get something to eat if I can. I'm so hungry. Peace out.